Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Julene with JovesStar Astrology. How are you? How is everybody? Right? We're just after the first of the year, so we are, we're almost a month into 2025, and things are getting interesting. So, uh, how's it going? I'm here to talk about the new moon in Aquarius. This one is a live wire. uh I think everybody will enjoy it. It's kind of like this is like maybe like the fuck it new moon, you know. We could take advantage of the positive aspects in this new moon. We can just kind of, let it fly, respectfully, of course, right? I mean, I'm not encouraging people to go out there and start war with anybody, but this is a new moon that kind of gives us a little bit of latitude. It's going to be it's going to be a bit sparky, right? It's a sparky new moon. There are possibilities here. New moon is the beginning of a cycle. So the next few weeks after this new moon, and when this new moon turns into a full moon in about 6 months, we'll really see like what it's flowered into. There's time here to see some change occur and some interesting things happen, and they could be things that we aren't expecting, right? So, the signs are going to go this way. Maybe you think you're going this way. It's like, no, go this way, go this way. Should be interesting. So we have this new moon coming out January 29th. So I'm recording this on Monday, the 27th of January. So we have a couple of days here before the exact hit of this new moon. January 29th, it's going to hit at 7:35 a.m. where I am in Phoenix, Arizona, 10:35 on the East Coast, 6:35 on the West Coast. So it's an early morning new moon. Lots of interesting things happening this week. When I throw up the chart, it's an Aquarius new moon. We have kind of an Aquarius parade in the sky right now. So definitely expect the unexpected. Like lightning bolts can fly, and the weirdness can come out of nowhere, right? We're just gonna have it kind of everywhere. So put your put your seatbelt on, right? It could be very, very interesting. Aquarius is an air sign, a fixed air sign. It is ruled by Saturn as its traditional ruler, and also Uranus as its modern ruler. So, I think the idea is to, it's a working sign, but the idea is, that we're going to work progressively. We're going to work differently. We're going to come up with new ideas. We're going to build on top of those foundations, right? Because, Saturn rules Capricorn too. In the traditional way, Capricorn is an earth sign, so it's about solid foundations. But in the sign of Aquarius, in air, it's about creating some fluidity, right? Creating some progress. Aquarius is about being rebellious and different, unique. And we are definitely in a time where very different things are happening, right? Very unique and different things are happening. But, it gives us all the opportunity to, sort of, pull some rabbits out of the hat and, express our most genius ideas, no matter how strange they might sound or might be. And we might get some of those things might come to us, right? And we might just, decide to flip a switch and say something or do something that, we've been wanting to do, didn't know how to do, or a little bit afraid to do. And now's the time to do that. So definitely get started on those things that you think, that's a little crazy. I can't do that. Or, how do I pull that together? Unique is the thing with this new moon. I'm going to throw the chart up there, but we're going to take a look also at the Sabian symbol, which I find really, really interesting for this new moon. The new moon comes in at 9 degrees. Let's see, 9 degrees. I'm looking over here of Aquarius. So we're rounding up for the Sabian symbol to 10 degrees of Aquarius. And so we look at that Sabian symbol, and it's really very interesting. I'm going to read it first so I don't forget. And then we can sort of build off of that. But I did read this one beforehand. Sometimes like, I haven't read this one, right? But I did read this one. So Aquarius 10, a popularity that proves ephemeral, keyword approbation. So ephemeral is something that is very short-lived, right? Comes in, goes out, can be very transient, can just be very quick. So maybe there's, we have to think about permanence here, right? Like what we do and what we say, will there be permanence there? Is that really how we feel? Is that really what we want to do? I think, if we're true to ourselves, there's always going to be that midline, that baseline of like who we are peppered into whatever we're doing or saying, hopefully. I mean, not everybody does that. Sometimes the pressure of the general public, the community and what's going on out there can push people to a point where there's sort of like, it's like, I call it fence sitting. It's like, it's right. It's like, if I'm in this group, I'm going to lean this way because I fit in better. Or if I'm in this group, I'm going to lean this way. And, some people just slightly alter their beliefs or their opinions, so that they can fit in or be popular or whatever. A lot of people do that, right? Because our society doesn't accept individuality very well, right? If you're an individual and you have a different opinion or an idea in any one particular group that you're in, and we all have to fit in groups that, for whatever, for work, just to get along in society, that we may not have the same views as, right? So people will kind of, sit on the fence a little bit just so that it's more comfortable. This new moon is suggesting that, we don't really need to do that, right? Because is that going to stand the test of time? Is that who we really are? Is gaining popularity or, being part of a group in the moment really something that we want to do in the long run? So things to think about, right? Ephemeral, interesting word. The theme, the swing of the pendulum, speaks to having the courage to keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough, rough, or when there seems to be no appreciation of effort or accomplishment. The image of a popularity that proves ephemeral alludes to the inevitable downfall or personal rejection that every individual will experience at some time in his life. So yeah, it's like, it's okay sometimes to not have the popular opinion within a crowd. It also takes a heck of a lot of courage to do it. Like those are some brave people, right? When you stand up and say, this is who I am and this is what I think, and it's different than what you're saying, if you want me to hang around, I'll hang around because I'm cool if you're different than me, kind of thing. That's very Aquarius, right? The implication is that success is actually the greatest point of challenge in any experience. The average person is inclined to rest on his laurels when he hears applause, while the individual with foresight knows that eventually the pendulum will swing in the other direction. The suggestion here is to learn to use the praise and approval of others as an incentive to higher achievement, while looking within for any ultimate source of strength or sustainment. At its highest, this symbol represents imperturbability. That's a tough one. Blah, blah, blah. Say that fast 5 times. Self-confidence and fortitude in the face of discouragement and criticism. Using others or going along with the crowd in the hope of gaining personal advantage, right? So a lot of people do that. The accent is on rejection and disappointment. You could be criticized or ignored by those who previously patted you on the back and praised your efforts or performance. Your greatest advantage lies in being yourself. If you aren't appreciated where you are, find a friendlier environment. Do your best and let the chips fall where they may. Guard against trying to please everyone. It can't be done. It can't be done, really. it just can't be. And at some point in your life, right? And I'm at the age where I'm like, whatever. I can't make everybody happy all the time. So why even try? Trendiness, transientness, elusiveness, evanescence, change, instability, impermanence, momentary, passing, mutable, perishable, short-lived, temporary, brief, and disappearing. So there you have it, right? Now you see it, now you don't, right? Rabbits out of hats, things changing rapidly, this group, that group, my opinion, your opinion. I say, and I learned this, my job, right? In my career as a consultant, it's like I had to give my honest opinion, regardless of whether it was a popular opinion. Because if I didn't, there was a risk, right, of not being honest. And if I did, then there was a risk of offending people and pissing people off. But really, I found that just, saying it like it is, respectfully, of course, if you can, and maintaining consistency in what you believe, who you are, you will see the C's part occasionally. It's like, well, some people go, well, that's not for me. I'm not going to buy into that. And then other times you'll be super popular within a group and then things change. I found for myself the best thing to do is just remain consistent in my beliefs and learn how to express them honestly, but also acknowledge that they could be different than somebody else. And that doesn't make me think any differently of them and hopefully them of me. And there are limitations on that too. Like I'm talking like within my civilized social situation, circle, career, whatever. There obviously are things that, I think most people can agree on that are not okay or, are okay or whatever. But, I watch society now and it's like, I just wonder what we're going to find to fight about next. I also found too, if you're the person that always wants to be popular in the moment, and so you're doing that fence sitting, that eventually that comes around, right? And people start to see that, and then you've completely lost credibility. I'd rather be disliked or unpopular than to be discarded because, people think, well, where does she really stand, right? So consistency always works for me. But so that's an interesting Sabian symbol. Very Aquarian. That is a very Aquarian type of situation. This is a very obviously Aquarian moon, Aquarius new moon. So I'm going to throw the chart up there. We're going to take a look at it and see what we've got here. We'll break it down. And I think I was playing with my pen, my Epic pen, because the last video, and look at darn thing, the last video I did, it wasn't working well, and it was just working fine before I clicked this up on the screen. So there's something here. I wonder if I take myself off of the I'm just throwing myself back up there. The technology here frustrates me over and over again. All right, well, we're just going to wing it. All right, so here we have new moon in Aquarius. Please ignore the degrees. For some reason, when I pulled this chart up, the software has the sun at 9, the moon at 11. Neither of those are right. Well, 9 is correct for the sun, but the moon should be at 11 too. I could adjust it a little bit, but the software is supposed to automatically pull up the exact chart for any lunation if you're choosing that new moon, full moon, eclipse, whatever. I don't know what happened here. It's one of those weird, strange things that popped out of the software. It's just totally appropriate for an Aquarius, Aquarius moon. So there we have the new moon in Aquarius. We have this new moon conjunct Pluto in the sign of Aquarius and Mercury that's just entered into the sign of Aquarius. I like Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury is the mind, it's communication. Aquarius, yeah, it can be a little quirky, maybe a little unfiltered. Yeah, maybe, mind moving fast, maybe a little chaotic, but genius nonetheless, right? Mercury and Aquarius can just be genius thought processes and ideas. And being a fixed air sign, Mercury rules Gemini, which is a mutable air sign. And so I think it does well in the sign of Aquarius. You just have to watch what you say and how you say it. Maybe you don't, right? Maybe now is the time where how you truly feel, who you truly are comes out. And, it's like you just get a case of the buckets, right? That could be. So new moon, just having the sun and the moon in Aquarius, pass over Pluto, and now Mercury into Aquarius. So Mercury conjunct Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. Well, my goodness, what kind of news is being uncovered? What kinds of powerful thoughts and conversations are we having? Who is really making a statement out there in the collective? This is surprise information or buried information. This is uncovering. It's really a good time to uncover information or to go searching for like what's really going on out there, right? What's going on within the groups that we are part of, even. But Aquarius talks about communities and friends. So break it down however you choose, whether that's going to apply to you personally. Definitely will apply to all of us watching what's going on in the collective. So we could really start to hear some very interesting things, coming out that might shock and surprise us when it comes to Aquarian type things, right? Politics. So powerful with having the sun and the moon just crossing over Pluto and being pretty much, within 10 degrees, so conjunct this new moon, and then Mercury is there to just sort of pass on the information, right? Or get things moving. Nice new moon in that it is trining Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. Even though it's retrograde, Jupiter will be stationing direct soon and going direct in the beginning of February. So it's slowed down even more. It's been at 11 degrees forever. But the new moon, a very fast moving new moon in the sign of Aquarius, where we can expect just about anything could go at this point. Anything goes here. Change, progress, rebellion, revelation, trining Jupiter, new ideas, trining the planet Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, which is about information. So we've got Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, conjunct this new moon in Aquarius, and then it's trining Jupiter, which really wants to open up the lines of communication and give more information and, help us, put the facts together and create some kind of growth in our wisdom, at least, right? Our beliefs, our ideas, projects. So, but Jupiter is slow, and it's retrograde right now. So could this be a sort of delayed response, a delayed increase or in the knowledge or movement or something, right? Could be. It could be, but anything trine Jupiter is positive. A trine is positive. It's the nature of Jupiter. So that energy is going very quickly from the Aquarius full moon into its connection or its conversation with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. So it gives us a little bit of luck. It gives us an opening there, an opportunity for growth in some way, and could very much have to do with information or learning, or just opening our mind to the bigger picture, and just, information can just flow through and things can just happen happen. Now, the new moon is ruled by its traditional ruler, Saturn, in the sign of Pisces right now, and also by Uranus. Boy, that's going to be a funny line. That is over here in the sign of Taurus. Taurus, the earth sign of Taurus, right? Representing material change, earthly change, representing money, representing finances, our values, right? This new moon, I mean, what we're having to say, what's coming to us might have everything to do with our value system. And Uranus is stationing to go direct as well. It has been retrograde for a while. So we're going to have a lot of planets direct here, very short order after this new moon. But Uranus, one of the rulers, so that just, you know, in the sign of Taurus, it's like, well, it kind of makes us think that whatever we have to do or say, whatever comes to us, whatever changes are coming around the bend, whatever stand we're taking, whatever groups we are affiliating with, that it's going to be connected, or it will create a material change somehow in our world, in our finances maybe, or in our value system. Saturn in the sign of Pisces, ruling this new moon, is a little bit more quiet, standoffish, a little introverted, more sensitive. The Saturn in Pisces, I mean, it represents, I've talked about this before, it represents a lot of things, in the mundane world, like healthcare and mental health and water events and, secrets and elusiveness and all those things that are Pisces. But Saturn in Pisces wants us to really create boundaries or do some work around those things, spirituality, right? Religion, even. But I think the Saturn in Pisces has us really thinking about what's good for everybody, right? Like, what am I working on that is going to be some kind of labor of love, or something that will benefit others as well as myself? Because Pisces teaches us that we're all connected. So this new moon is connected to Saturn and Pisces. So maybe what's coming to us is like, after we've gotten a vision, Pisces, of, the work that we're doing and how what we do affects everybody. And then we get these great ideas, this new moon in Aquarius, or something changes, or somebody says something, or we think, of something, or we say something, that maybe that is going to be, filtering right into that Saturn and Pisces, where it's like, okay, I just want to, get this out on the table. This is what I have to say. This is the group I belong in, or this is how I feel, within maybe a group you've been a part of forever. And you're saying, no, I believe this, I believe that we are all connected. I believe we need to have compassion for one another. I believe, whatever the case may be, Saturn in Pisces is affecting this new moon in Aquarius because it's one of the rulers. So it makes it a little bit more, a little bit more sensitive, maybe, or having consideration for other people. And you could say something or do something or want to start something new or affiliate with other people or groups that might require you to make some kind of sacrifice as a result of doing that, right? So there's a lot of shuffling around here, right? There's a lot of shuffling around, and that, all of those planets in Pisces kind of show us that, boy, is there a lot of things dissolving to come back together before things go into Aries. But nonetheless, those are the two rulers for this new moon. Trine Jupiter, very, very positive. And Saturn in Aquarius being the rulers. Now, one thing I'm going to erase this here, point out here too, is that Saturn, one of the rulers, is, oh boy, there you go. Here in Pisces is still, in a square with Jupiter, right? Saturn squaring Jupiter can be a bit of a killjoy, right? We feel delayed. We feel blocked. Something's not opening up. There's too much going on. Things are slower than what we want them to be, maybe. Saturn in Pisces is going to take the passive position, but don't underestimate that Saturn in Pisces is putting a plan together, just being a little bit quiet. Things are going on underneath the radar there. So that square still exists, and it'll exist again when Jupiter goes direct and starts to move forward. We'll get another Saturn square Jupiter. So it's just like this stutter kind of feeling, that we're not getting where we want to be. But I think what this is it's just like we don't have enough information yet for things to start flowing. And that's probably okay. We'll probably see as time goes by that that's what was best for us in the long run. Saturn is also, oops, darn it. I swear. And I fixed this thing. Whatever you want to call fix, but I tested it. Like I said, this is just the strangest thing. Okay. Saturn is also trining Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Mars doesn't like it in Cancer, so it's been a little wonky. How is your Mars retrograde going, right? Cancer is about home and family, and it's about our emotions. It's about our mothers. It's about our homes, our land, all kinds of things. And, it depends on where it's hitting in your chart, right? But Saturn is training this Mars, water signs. Saturn, Pisces, Mars, Cancer, retrograde. Trine is good. So energy is flowing freely. Right? Doesn't always mean it's going to be positive, but it's flowing freely. But, Saturn is informing Mars that we need to take cautious. We need to be cautious about the moves that we're making, but that we can make moves, right? But maybe the moves that we're making right now, Mars retrograde, are things that we're trying to clear out from the past. Now, I saw this happen for me where Mars, there were other things. I have some Pisces placements, right? So, we had Venus hit Saturn, and we have so it's a square to Jupiter. Jupiter can still kind of give us a little bit, but then, not the whole view. But I had something really positive happen last week with a client. Oh, I got a new client. I got a contract signed. And then there was some really disturbing news that came through. And immediately it was reversed. Here's the thing, though. I knew it was the right thing. When the information came out, and this could be what this new moon is for me, right? Very surprising information came out. It was found. It was uncovered, and it immediately reversed the client relationship, right? Because there was risk. There was definitely risk there. So Saturn trining Mars retrograde, it can create reversals, but they are likely for your own good. It's, cleaning up things. You can feel like you're going backwards a little bit, but Mars will move forward. My throat is getting dry. Okay. Mars will be stationing, and it'll be moving forward at the end of February. So we have that to look forward to as we're going into February. But then it's got to backtrack, right? It's got to go back all the way over all of the degrees that it did. We won't get into too much of the Mars retrograde, but one of the rulers of this new moon, Saturn in Pisces, is trining Mars in Cancer. So cautious movement is something that we might be feeling, right, in the water signs. Be careful, plan, take a different look at things, and if something is irritating you, or you feel like you want to go quickly and get something done and it doesn't seem to be going your way, really feel into it, because that's what the water signs do. And you might see that was probably what the best course of action was, even though it probably made things more difficult in the moment. I found that happened with me. Okay. So all these planets going direct, right? We've got Uranus going direct. We've got Jupiter about to station to go direct. We're going to have Mars stationing go direct, of course, in just a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. February is a short month. And then we have this whole parade here in Pisces that is coming into conjunction with the moon's north node in the sign of Pisces. And we know that the north node just moved into Pisces and the south node into Virgo. Mercury up here is Mercury up here is ruling the south node in the sign of Virgo that wants everything to be in order, perfect. It wants to work very hard, know the details. This is good that Mercury in Aquarius is ruling the south node, because this might really give us a very, very quick processing in our mind of exactly what is going on, what we need to pick back up, what situations that we've been in before that we need to recognize, how we move through it. Or we might find that we're reacting very differently to situations that we've experienced in the past that are coming back up now. And with a Mercury conjunct Pluto, we might just blow that up, right? It can really be like, no, not doing that again. The moon's north node in Pisces, all of those Pisces planets, and Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, which is over here in the sign of Pisces, and they're in a square. All these Pisces planets are, in a square by sign to the ruler Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. But Venus and Neptune and the north node of the moon are going to come into conjunction shortly after this new moon. Now, they've all been informed. They've all passed over. Not all, I shouldn't say. Venus has passed over. I see this big stellium, like, oh, look at all those planets. No, Venus has just passed over Saturn. So she's gotten a lesson or two, right? Maybe she felt a little restricted, or she slowed down her sensitivities just enough to think reasonably and maturely about how she feels, what she wants, whether that be regarding a relationship or something financial, or anything that is Venusian. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, so very, very strong, coming into that conjunction with Neptune and into the north node of the moon. And so Pisces north node, it's leading us where we need to be focused on. It's leading the collective, into its next phase of growth. A lot of people talk about, Pisces represents a 12th sign of the zodiac, so it's the end. Neptune is dissolving. Yes, it can be. Saturn and Pisces is a difficult placement. Can be. I have to make friends with Saturn and Pisces because I have Saturn and Pisces. And let me tell you, it can be unassuming, but it's not weak by any means. It does think about everything that's going on around it. And sometimes the sacrifice is made because it's really hard to make everybody happy all of the time. And so the sacrifice comes from, either you're to self-sacrifice, or it's a sacrifice of one piece of, the group or the puzzle or another, just so that you can create, a whole that makes sense, and absolutely put something together that fits the larger picture as best you can. And so, it can be difficult, but it's very, it's not wishy-washy. Some people think, Saturn and Pisces is wishy-washy. Maybe it is a little bit, you're uncertain and unsure of yourself. I found that when I was growing up, but as you get older, as I got older anyway, I realized that Saturn and Pisces could really served me well in terms of standing up for what was right for everybody. I've had to balance, whether or not my personal sacrifice should be as much from situation to situation or case by case, but nonetheless, Venus and Neptune coming together with the North Node of the Moon is with an exalted Venus and Neptune in Pisces. This is what dreams are made of. People say, well, it's the ending. And all of those Pisces, there can be endings for sure. We can see, the passing away of things, the sadness of things, the escapism of things, the illusion and deceit of all those things that we talk about when we talk about Neptune. But let's not remember that the 12th house, even though it does represent endings and what's hidden, what's behind the scenes, what's private, it also represents the dream space and our connection to the things that we can sense and feel but can't see. So our spiritual connections, right? This can also be the stuff that dreams are made of, right? This is, if I dream it, I might be able to have it, right? Definitely pay attention to your dreams during this week, during this new moon phase, because things might come to you in a dream, or you might really be super sensitive to intuitive messages or just your surroundings in general. So it doesn't always mean that there's an ending. It can mean that something turns into something different. The form changes, right? Before it goes into Aries, because Aries is form. The form is changing. The dust is settling. We're kind of getting a better idea of, what is being birthed, what is going to be new. And it's mutable and it's water. And so it's like the possibilities are endless. So I don't want to look at Neptune and Pisces all the time as, it's got to be just an ending and, it's things that'll disappoint us or will emotionally fall apart. Those things can happen, but there are other things. So it's like, wish upon a star, right? This is the thing that dreams can be made of. Pay attention to how you're feeling and what's going on, because things could turn around very quickly, very, very quickly. Saturn's in Pisces, it's really this new moon. The North Node in Pisces is telling us that we need to be more compassionate, that this is the next phase. More compassion, more sensitivity, more creativity, creativity, more spirituality, but like in a different way. And, this could be like how we see spiritual things could be changing, right? Becoming more pure and more sensitive. I've talked a lot about what I believe spirituality to be, or what is spiritual. And, it doesn't have to be what we're being sold on the internet that allows us to escape from reality. Pisces does give us a reprieve from reality if we need it, but we can go down the rabbit hole. At the same time, and with Saturn and Pisces there, we're being brought back to our senses. We have the opportunity to do that. And, it could be through some very eye-opening experiences. But, spirituality can be a lot of things. It doesn't have to be church or, the groups that you belong to, or what you buy. People are going to save you, all of this stuff. And we know there's a lot of that out there because we're just looking for answers a lot of times when we feel lost at sea, right? Pisces, lost in our emotions. And it's being reshaped now. Maybe we're coming into a sense of our own beliefs and our own choice, right? Or our own reality. And kind of maybe we're snapping out of that fog and just kind of, putting it all together. It can take a while, right? In life, the reality is those things can take a while. So you just don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but, allow yourself to dream a little, to open your mind and expand, to reach out and connect to people, but really to stay true to yourself. I think that's this new moon in Aquarius, is like pulling yourself back in. This is who I am. This is what I believe. And kind of allowing that Saturn that's ruling that new moon to give us a little bit of boundaries or grounding, right? When it comes to the things that we might feel we're getting lost in. But, this Pisces lineup, this Venus conjunct Neptune conjunct the North Node could really be something that's destined. It could be a reworking, love, right? Forgiveness. Miracles can happen, right? With Venus conjunct Neptune in the North Node. If that's where we're destined to go, if that's what we're supposed to be doing. So definitely don't sleep on that. That's going to be occurring through the weekend, and we'll still be under the effect of this new moon and its energies. So it's a good new moon. There are a lot of things that could happen, and I think it's just like if things are stagnant or we're lost or we're confused, this one can snap us out, of whatever, and we'll just like pull the trigger, make the move, say the thing, and we've got a little help there with Jupiter. So it's a nice new moon. I am liking it, right? Anything could happen here. It's time to let go of the filters, say what you want to say, be who you need to be. Don't worry about being popular. Be consistent, right? People will know this is who she is, good, bad, or indifferent, or he, or whoever. And we can always count on that. Because being popular and riding that fence, it's a come and go. It's transient. It's ephemeral. It's here for only a short time. And if things come in or that are only destined or supposed to be here for a very short time, then there was something that was coming in or coming to you or around you, because there's something that you're supposed to pick up, right? And take with you, information or a feeling or something like that. So that you're gonna, use for the future, for your own progress, for whatever it is that you're a part of, whatever group you're involved with, whatever, is going to move you forward. So get out there and do that. Just, be safe, be respectful. I mean, Aquarius can be a little standoffish too. So, if you find yourself in unfamiliar territory and you're not in a safe place to do that, Aquarius is very good at detaching itself from the emotion of it all, and being able to move on its own individually, right? Because that Aquarius can be very much an individual when it needs to be as well. So anyway, should be interesting. You guys will have to let me know how it's going for you. I'd love to hear. If you would like to book a personal reading, my information is down below. My email address, which you can send a message to book a reading, or just a message to me through there, or you can send me an email. My email address is down below, as well as my website address. So I'd love to meet you and read for you. And yeah, thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, share, all the things, please. I always appreciate that. Maybe I'll grow my group, my channel, right? Maybe it'll just suddenly happen during Aquarius season. Maybe. Something will, right? Things are moving forward. Put your seatbelts on, right? Stay safe. And I will see you soon. Until then, take good care, and may the stars forever be in your favor. Bye for now.